Let's get into it right now. We're going to stay with the association and Kevin Durant, who will be making his first appearance as a visitor against the Thunder on Saturday, and says he expects the crowd to be rowdy. Durant also noted the, quote, fake drama that was created between he and Russell Westbrook in regards to a comment he made about the Warriors being unselfish. KD and Mark Stein, the floor is yours, gentlemen.
I know they're going to be, rowdy in there, man. I've been a part of some of the loudest nights in that arena, so I know it's not going to be the friendliest welcome, but like I said, I can't wait to see the people that I really built relationships with over my time there. And, I'm sure fans that I got to know throughout my time playing there, even though they might not cheer for me out loud, I'll give them a wink, and they know what we have deep down inside. So I realized that early on in the season, I was doing an interview with someone, and I used the word unselfish describing my teammates here, the Warriors. And someone asked Russell a question, asked if he heard what I said about being unselfish, and he phrased the question as if I was saying that the Thunder and their organization and the team was selfish. And once I heard that, I was like, well, they're trying to get in between this thing and make it bigger than what it is. Obviously Russell wasn't going to hear that interview I had about me just talking about my teammates I have now. And, someone in Oklahoma City phrases to him as if I was calling them selfish. So, it's that easy. It's that easy for the media to twist something up and for the media to, make a feud between us.
That's just the appetizer there. You can see the full conversation with Durant tonight on SportsCenter after the Bulls and the Warriors game. Stephen A., what's Durant doing here?
Well, he's passing the buck. It's just that simple. First of all, major props to my man Mark Stein for getting the interview. He's doing an exceptional job covering the Warriors the way that he's done. Always proud of the work that he does. And Kevin Durant, to be fair, may be absolutely right as it pertains to that little nugget that he's pointing to. But the reason why I say he's passing the buck is because he's trying to use that point to generalize from a macro perspective in regards to what the media is trying to do. Exactly. The media ain't trying to do a damn thing, Kevin Durant. You did it when you left, and you didn't even have the decency to see him face to face, man to man, and tell him. Or, for that matter, pick up the phone and tell him. You decided that he was going to find out like everybody else found out with the news. And that's what put Russell Westbrook back. So understand, let's put this in perspective. And it's very, very important that we understand this. Because it's not like Kevin Durant, it's not the Kevin Durant that we know. He may not have been intentional in doing it. It may have been very, very hard for him just to look this guy in the face that he called his little brother all of these years and say, I'm leaving. But the reality is Kevin Durant's actions left Russell Westbrook hanging. I'm not talking about Russell Westbrook playing without him. I'm talking about he left Russell Westbrook hanging in terms of Russell Westbrook answering a bunch of questions as to why Kevin Durant left. For months, people were saying to Russell Westbrook, he left because of you. You still got people to this very day, including people on the Warriors who will remain nameless, who sat up there and said that man knew he could never win with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's too selfish. Russell Westbrook doesn't want to pass the ball. Russell Westbrook wants to be the alpha male on the team. Kevin Durant ain't down with that. He wasn't going to win, blah, 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 blah. This is what they said. So you put the character of Russell Westbrook under a microscope as if he were responsible for one of the top two greatest players on the planet departing from the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is what Kevin Durant did. He did that with no regard for how it would impact Russell Westbrook. We're just lucky that Russell Westbrook has been so professional that he has handled it with very little fanfare in terms of the quote that he's willing to give. But Kevin Durant, good person at all, great basketball ambassador, one of the top two players on the planet, that same Kevin Durant that I could sit here and praise till the cows come home, left his brother hanging. And you don't do that to your brother. That's what Kevin Durant did. So he can hide behind the media all he wants to. And he might be right with this little nugget right here in terms of that specific question and the quote about the selfishness and all of that stuff. But from a macro perspective, he's trying to blame the media for stuff that he is responsible for. Kevin Durant did that, Nobody else.
So we largely have the same thing to say on this topic.
Sure.
I mean, when Durant says there was, they're trying to get in that space, the media is trying to get in that space, KD, why is there space there in the first place? There's space there in the first place because you left him high and dry when you left town. There's space there in the first place because one of the reasons you left, as I said at the time, the kind of mythology of hero ball that came from the Michael Jordan era is that, who's going to take the last shot? Who's going to be the so-called closer? And on the Warriors, it was pretty obvious that the guy who took the last shot was the open man. And that's the kind of basketball Durant wanted to play. He didn't want to play hero ball. He wanted to, if he's open, he'll take the shot. If Steph, if Clay, if Draymond's open, they'll take the shot. That appealed to him, and that is a less selfish way of playing. There's no getting around that.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I want you to finish your point.
And so when he's asked about the Warriors, they play very unselfishly. Steph Curry, as I keep mentioning, sets off-ball screens. How many superstars do that to the extent that he does? They do the little things, the unselfish things. There's not a clamor about who's going to take the last shot on that team. That appealed to Kevin Durant. Now, when you say that about Golden State, it will naturally be compared to where you came from, right? I mean, of course.
Yeah, it's going to look like a shot, even if it's not.
And it's an issue, and while I agree with you that Russell Westbrook has handled it perfectly so far, clearly that was an issue on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That it comes down to hero ball at the end. Will it be Durant or Westbrook? And Durant wasn't having that. So does it sound like a shot at Westbrook? Yes, but when you compare the two situations, of course it's a shot at Westbrook. There's no getting around that fact. So that when Durant says the media is trying to do something, kids, be careful. Be very suspicious whenever you hear someone constantly blame the media, who, by and large, most members of the media, is there manipulation? Do we like it? All of us in the media went, oh, KD said selfish. He said unselfish about his team. Does that mean he said selfish about Oklahoma City? And we blow it up? Sure. But the vast majority of people in the media are just hardworking, doing their jobs type people.
This is
true. And it looks weak to blame the media.
It looks incredibly weaker when you're clearly and flagrantly the culprit in it all. Let's rewind the clock and just narrow it down. We're about to have some champions up in here. But has some champions up in here, and I can't wait to talk to them. And it may not be about this, but we're going to talk about what the ingredients of a champion is, okay? Now, this is not football, which is far more complicated, and as far as I'm concerned, a greater team sport. In basketball, individual greatness can propel you to astronomical heights. We are talking about a Kevin Durant who is clearly top 2 in the world. You sit there and say, oh, they love the style of play of the Golden State Warriors or whatever the case may be. They were champions who were runner-ups in the finals, who were down 3-1 against you, came back and beat you, and you departed to go and play with the team that beat you. I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring that. I'm not ignoring the fact that you chose to go to the team that beat you when you were the individual that possibly cost them the trip to the finals. It was Kevin Durant, not just Westbrook. Kevin Durant didn't show up in that game 6. Right. All right, that game 7, he waited too late. Kevin Durant could have made the difference between him going to Golden State, between them beating Golden State and he didn't do it. So you come up short. That's like Tom Brady coming up short against the Falcons and then saying, you know what, let me go join them. Let me go down to the ATL. Really?
No, it's worse. Then he doesn't tell anybody about it.
And he doesn't tell anybody. I want to hear that. That's what he did. And so what I'm saying to you is this. When we look at Kevin Durant and we want to compare him to LeBron, and LeBron left Cleveland. I'm saying he left Cleveland for Miami. He didn't tell anybody. That was personal stuff going on. He didn't feel like he had teammates. And on top of it all, he didn't have the greatest relationship with the owner. It was documented, so he decides to depart for South Beach. In the case of Kevin Durant, this is the dude that was hugging Russell Westbrook. This is my little brother, telling the media to be quiet, calling Mark Cuban an idiot, and all of this other stuff because of what he said about Russell Westbrook. And then after you lose, you turn up and you desert him like that?
I disagree with your characterization that it's that much different. Yes, Durant is joining a team that's already the formula has been baked in already, and he can just join it. And that's different than putting a super team together, as LeBron essentially did in Miami. However, the big picture is LeBron said he wanted to go to a place where he could win as many titles as possible, and didn't just go to Miami, but joined Chris Bosh.
Stop that.
Going
Don't compare
to
the two.
Miami.
Don't compare
and
the two.
It was basically the same thing.
Don't compare the two.
It was a
We gotta leave it there, you
superstar
guys.
looking for an unfair talent advantage in order to win a championship.
I've covered the NBA.
Basically the same thing.
I've covered the NBA for 20 years. Can I get the last word on this?
Of course.
LeBron departs for Miami. He, Wade, and Bosh never, ever played together until they arrived. Kevin Durant joined the machine. The Splash Brothers already won a title. With Draymond Green already went to back-to-back
Wade
titles.
already won a title.
They already had. No, I'm talking about they played together.
Yeah,
Guys.
that's it. It makes it
That's a big
different, but
deal.
not the big picture.
We've
That's
got,
a big deal.
We've got no chill today.